Dr. Gurmet, are you on call? Rigzen?
Is he joined with some other number? There is a YG.
I think so. Let me confirm with him on phone.
Yeah, he's not able to unmute, looks like. Yeah.
I see.
See if host can send him the unmute request.
Yeah, I sent him a request already. Thank you.
He is a co-host too, so he can unmute and start his video and everything.
Yes. He just told me that his network is really bad. So, but he's trying his best to join in. Rigzen is currently in a remote area called Namsai in Arunachal Pradesh, and it has bad network and connectivity issues, physical as well as bad internet connectivity. I think Rigzen has been able to join us. Rigzen, can you hear us? Rigzen?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you. I'm glad you could join in.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear
can
us?
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm really sorry. Like here here in Arunachal, like the network is really bad. It's raining a lot here now.
Right. We are glad you could join us. We are aware of the
Yeah.
connectivity. We are aware of the connectivity issues. So without much ado, let's begin. And if there are any technical issues, don't worry about it. You can always reconnect and join in. So before we start, I will give a brief introduction of Dr. Rigzen Gurmet, and then I'll hand over the floor to him. So Dr. Rigzen Gurmet is originally from Ladakh, and he completed his PhD in Buddhism from Delhi University. Now he's an assistant professor at Arunachal University in Namsai, Arunachal Pradesh, and he's also head of the Department of Buddhist Studies. So he's currently based in Namsai, and he's a very active scholar in Buddhism. He participates in activities. He also has an organization named International Buddhist Youth Federation. Is that correct, Rigzen? So he also has an organization called International Buddhist Youth Federation. With that, I'd like to hand over the floor. Rigzen, could you please turn off your video, because that will be consuming a lot of your bandwidth.
Yes, can you? Yeah, I'm really sorry. Being in Arunachal Pradesh at the border, it's really difficult.
So if you turn off the video,
I'm really sorry.
That is all right.
Yes,
Rigzen.
yes.
So if you turn off the video, you will have more bandwidth. Or yes, great. So the name of the organization, if I said it correctly, it is International Buddhist Youth Organization, right?
Sorry?
The name of your organization is International...
Yes. International Buddhist Youth Confederation, yes.
International Youth Buddhist Confederation. Great.
Yes, so, Buddhist Youth Confederation. Yes.
Right. So it would be great if before the talk, you talk a little bit about the organization and go on with the main topic. So over to you, Dr. Rigzen. We welcome you on behalf of Ambedkar Association of North America. We are glad you are finally here. And please begin with your talk. Thank you.
Namo tasya bhagavato arahato samasambhava. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. We lost you for a little bit, but now you're audible again.
Okay. I'm really sorry. It's raining a lot here. So I hope we can pray that I'll have a good network. Yes, and first of all, I'm very thankful to the organization for giving me this opportunity. Always pleasure to interact with the people who are interested in Buddhism. It is my great honor to be with you, and it's the main purpose is to learn rather than sharing my knowledge, because I have a very limited knowledge to share. Today the topic is the Buddhist practice in the topic is the Buddhist practice in modern society. So first of all, I'll begin with highlighting a bit on identifying the three precious gems. It's very important being a Buddhist, the identifying the three precious gems is very important. So as we know, the three precious gems are Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. So when it comes to the Buddha, so Buddha is for example, I always like to explain in a layman term, Buddha, for me, someone who has come over all the defilements, and having control over all the knowledge and realization. Moreover, like, Buddha is someone who is patron of loving kindness. So Buddha, like, even like, in the text, Buddha considered as a doctor. And again, like, when it comes to Dhamma is considered as a medicine. Then Sangha is considered as a nurse. So all of these are very important. Like, Buddha, again, like, it's not only the Siddhartha Gautama. So the Buddha is like usually when we explain it, it's literally it's mean awakened one. Like, as I mentioned before, like someone who has come over all the defilements and having strong control over the knowledge and realization. At the same time, the someone who is the patron of loving kindness, right? So similarly, when it comes to the Dhamma has a different meaning. Dhamma has a different meaning, but like Dhamma is also, knowledge. Dhamma is also path, and Dhamma is Chunishya Lamdani, and Dhamma is also Nibbana. And Dhamma means, again, like, the literally meaning of Dhamma is the having, having hold over all the emotions, like, that is Dhamma. Then again, like, when it comes to Sangha is like those people, like those Aryas, or like, Aryas, or like, the women, like laymen, like whoever, like who is helping us, accompanying us in a to have a journey towards the right direction. That is Dhamma. Then again, like, in there's a text called Abhisamaya Alankara, like, and this is a little bit technical, like when Buddha, and also in convention level and ultimate level also can be categorized. Like, when it comes to the convention level, like Buddha also categorized into Rupakaya, and in this Rupakaya, there's includes two, like Sambhokaya and Nirmankaya. Sambhokaya is basically like, the teacher for the Bodhisattvas and the enlightened being. And when it comes to the Nirmankaya is the bodies of emanation. Again, the bodies of emanation, it's the, like, for instance, the Siddhartha Gautama, like, he came as in a form of bodies of emanation, and and share his great wisdom to all the human beings. That is the Nimankaya. So again, like, in ultimate level, like, then there is a Dhammakaya, right? Dhammakaya is basically the truth body. Again, in ultimate level, when it comes to the Dhammakaya is again can be categorized into Jnana Dhammakaya and Swabhava Kaya Dhammakaya. In Tibetan, it says Ishichoku and Ngongiku, right? So these are like mainly these are referred to Jnana Dhammakaya and Swabhava Kaya Dhammakaya, mainly refer to the Buddha's mind, the ultimate realization of truth, right? So, and again, the second one is also the true cessation. Like, for example, like, when we discuss about the Four Noble Truths, suffering and understanding of suffering, the understanding the origination of suffering, then, and there is a cessation, right? The true cessation. That is the also referred to the Swabhavakaya, right? So this is a bit introduction of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, which is very important. Like, being a Buddhist, everyone should have an understanding of what is the Buddha and what is Dhamma and what is Sangha, right? Then after that, like, I want to then after that, Dhamma. When it comes to Dhamma can be again like categorized into conventional Dhamma and ultimate Dhamma, right? So when it comes to the convention Dhamma like mainly it's the teaching of Buddha. The teaching of Buddha. It is like a medicine, right? The doctor that prescribed that medicine, like the great doctor, the Buddha, he has prescribed, the teachings, like, it can be summarized into three Pitakas when it comes to the tradition of Theravada, and when it comes to the Tibetan Buddhism, again, like, Kangyur and Tengyurs are there, like, it's one of the richest literature in the world, like Kangyur and Tengyur, the collection of Kangyur and Tengyur, right? So these are there in Tibetan language. Again, these are all translation from the ancient Indian languages. So these are the Dhamma, right? So these are the main medicine that cure our darkness, the darkness of ignorance, right? So, and again, when it comes to the ultimate Dhamma is like, it is the realization. Like, for example, like, when I practice Dhamma, through the inspiration of Buddha, then again, when I started practicing Dhamma, then when at certain level, when I have a realization, then that realization is the ultimate Dhamma, right? So again, when it comes to the Sangha is again like, it is basically a group of virtuous people, like, the in layman terms, group of good people, like, then again, when it comes to, if we talk little different, then it's a group of enlightened beings. For example, the group of Bodhisattvas, right? And also it can be a group of monks, or like it has to be particular number, like, number should be like at least 4, minimum 4. Then it counts as a Sangha, right? So group of virtuous people, or laymen, or monks, or like Bodhisattvas, is the conventional Sangha. Then again, like, the quality in the particular practitioners, like Sangha, those are the quality, the realization or understanding the reality of phenomena is the ultimate Sangha, right? Then, like, the one thing after that, when it comes to the Buddha, this Buddha Buddha said, like, this Tathagata Garbha. There's this technical term called Tathagata Garbha, right? In Tibetan it says Gyudeshik Nyingpo. Gyudeshik Nyingpo, it means the seed of becoming a Buddha. And in Buddhism, particularly, like, in Buddhism, it's believed that all the living beings has a similar kind of Tathagata Garbha. Like, there's no difference in Tathagata Garbha, in the state of becoming a Buddha, in me, or like, any of you there listening now. It's similar. Like, even like, it says, like, the Tathagata Garbha in Bodhisattva, or Tathagata Garbha in Buddha, and Tathagata Garbha there is in you, it's very similar. There's no differences in it. There's no differences, like, when it comes to the seed of becoming a Buddha. So, like, here all living beings has a same capability of having realization, having understanding of the reality, right? It's a beautiful, it gives lots of inspiration, it gives lots of encouragement, right, to practice, or like, not only practice, but like also to become an enlightenment, to become enlightened, right? So even if not to become enlightened being, but at least to become a good being in the society, that gives us the hope, right? This is a beautiful, like, I always appreciate, I always cheers for this kind of like philosophy. It's a wonderful, right? So the main thing today, like, my main topic is like this the practice the Buddhist practice in modern society, right? When it comes to the Buddhist practice in modern society, like the concept of bodhicitta, I really like the concept of bodhicitta, right? Because like every one of us, like has now in modern society, we have to work, we have to travel, we have to meet so many people, right? So again, like, it's like, if it's not like before, now we have to mingle with people and we have to interact with people. Until and unless we go with the people, it's very difficult somehow, So I like the practice of Bodhisattva, the practice of Bodhicitta. So so in these two discussed this concept of Bodhicitta, I would like to discussed about there's a text called Bodhicitta Charya Avatara. Bodhicitta Charya Avatara is text which is written by the Shanti Deva, Acharya Shanti Deva. Acharya Shanti Deva was one of the greatest scholars from Nalanda University. So in this, so I don't want to share a life story of Shanti Deva, because again, all of you can go through it later through online. But I want to discuss about the Bodhicitta Charya Avatara, the Bodhicitta Charya Avatara is a very popular text. Like whenever Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he prefer to give teaching on the Bodhicitta Charya Avatara. So it's very interesting and personally I really like it. It's one of my favorite text. So it's so the very theme of the text is based on 6 perfection, which provides the framework for the Bodhisattva's path of enlightenment. The first 3 chapters discuss the benefit of bodhicitta, and the confession of the second, the confession of sin. Then I explain the means of cultivating and sustaining this altruistic aspiration. These topics lay the foundation of the generosity, when it comes to the 6 perfection, like we in Sanskrit or like in Pali, it's called paramitas, right? 6 paramitas. Paramitas, the first generosity, the perfection of generosity. It's the first. So these 3 chapters, it's a lay for the foundation of generosity, practice of generosity, right? So I want to discuss a bit on bodhicitta. It's very important to understand the bodhicitta. It's beautiful, So, and then again, the very purpose of we discuss about the 3 gems, right? The Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. We usually go refuge as a Buddhist, right? So why we are going refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha? It's like the very purpose of going refuge is to train our mind, right? So this this bodhicitta, I find it one of the best way of training our mind, right? So bodhicitta, basically bodhicitta is it's a practice of compassion, right? So it's a practice of loving kindness. It's a practice of loving kindness. There are 2 different kind of practicing the bodhicitta. So the first practice, it's very important. The first practice of bodhicitta is 7 causes and effect precepts. 7 causes and effect precepts, right? So here, there are 7. First is equanimity, right? When it comes to equanimity, it means we for example, we discriminate people, right? So it's or we also, when it comes to the taste, or when it comes to touch, or when it comes to the or when you look at towards the form, or we always have a sense of discrimination, right? So the equanimity here means it is going beyond the good and bad, right? So it is not having particular the sense of good or bad, right? So it is equal one, it is more like a it's totally lack of discrimination, right? That is the economy, the practice when it comes to the first practice. Then second practice is second point is the regarding as a one mothers. Like, here, like, in the Bodhicitta practice, like Bodhisattva practice. So here, like, consider all living being as a all living being as a own present mother, right? So here, and the second one is regard as one's own mother, like all the living beings that we have to regard as one own mother, right? So, uh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. So second one is like, and again remembering the, like, for example, like, the our mother, present mother, right? Our present mother, like, she takes care of us, like, and she look after us, and she makes sure that, like, we have everything, right? We have everything, like, make sure that she accommodate everything to make our life very comfortable, right? So that kind of mother we have to recognize here. It's like, regarding present mother, like regarding all living being as a present mother, right? So then after that, like, it is called Din Dempa, in remembering kindness. Like mothers are very kindness, right? They are very grateful for, at least for a child, their child, right? So similarly, like, we're remembering, like, all the kindness that giving it to you, right? Then up and third point is like Dinzo. Fourth point is the Dinzo. Dinzo, it means like paying back kindness. Paying back kindness, like, for example, like, taking care of mother at, like, it in layman terms, it like, taking care of mother, look after mother, like, talking softly with a mother, and like, making sure she's fine, like, mentally or physically. That there is a paying back of kindness, right? What she has done to us, and again, like, we are paying back their kindness, right? Similarly, this has to like, apply to all the living beings. Like, it sounds very difficult, like, it's very difficult to digest it, but like, when we have this kind of mentality, it is always like, give lots of encouragement, like, especially when you're working in an office, like when you're working in, like, this big cities, like, all people are like always busy running here and there and always. And when we have this kind of the attitude, like, it help us a lot, like, even if we not talk about like this to achieve the enlightenment, but like at least in day-to-day life it helps us a lot, and it gives a lot of encouragement, or like, the courage or confidence, right? So then again, like, Dinzo, how you like paying back their kindness, like, then the fifth point is like Yongi Chamba means immaculate love, through the love, immaculate love, right? So, and again, the sixth point is like Ingje means compassion, right? So nowadays, like, like there are very there are like the society always will lack the love and compassion, right? That's why we are facing lots of problems. And again, like, the loving kindness towards the environment, we lack of it, right? So again, like loving kindness toward the society, loving kindness toward the people, like, the or loving kindness toward the colleagues, we because of lacking all these qualities, or like, loving kindness or compassion, we are facing lots of problems. So environmentally, or like, in a many ways. So again, last one is a very important, like, it's called Haksam is a higher altruism, right? Higher altruism. So higher altruism is basically like, even like being a Buddhist, or like, or like as a human being, whatever we do, like, when we don't have good intention, or like higher altruism in us, we cannot contribute fully, right? So like again, like, be it politicians, or be it the boss, or head of the office, or like be it anything, like, officer, like, when someone who has a who has no intention, good intention, then like they cannot do much, like, you know. But like someone who has this higher altruism or like, you know, loving kindness, they can do a lot, like, you know, even like they can utilize the maximum of their capabilities towards the well-being of the society, or like, you know, human beings, right? So these are the 7 cause and effect precepts, like, you know, these are the one way of practicing bodhicitta. So I want to quote here the Dalai Lama recently, what he said. So like, you know, he said, in the case of my dealing with the current struggle and situation of Tibet, if you just think only about if from a narrow angle, you can lose your hope. But if you look at the crisis, this current situation, from the broader perspective of the courage of bodhicitta or compassion give you, then you can have a much more resilient mind. You know, it's very interesting, right? A resilient mind. So when you have loving kindness in you, like, you know, when you inculcate loving kindness, you can do a lot, like not only for yourself, but like for your society, or like, you know, in general, like, you know, to all the living beings, like, you know, environment, everything, like, you know, we can contribute a lot. And there's another way of practicing the bodhicitta or bodhisattva practice, is to equalize and exchange oneself with other, right? I'm repeating again, to equalize and exchange oneself with others. This practice is like, it means like, you know, for example, like if someone is suffering a lot, like, you know, someone is really suffering a lot, like, you know, replacing yourself to others, like understanding their pain or his or her pain, like, you know, then generating compassion towards a particular person, right? That's one way of practicing bodhicitta or the bodhisattva practice. This is another way of practicing bodhisattvas, right? So here, like, you know, and it says like in Bodhicitta Charya Avatara, it says like it's very interesting, like it says like Janju Semki Gunakiji, Konretona Damengantana, Dishinam Geseja Josha Jidel Hamicheba Chajagur. This is in Tibetan. It means like, you know, if you think, like, if you have the intention of, you know, curing the very small headache of other people, like, you know, through the giving medicines and all, like, but you know, and when you know, take care of, you know, when you have that kind of intention, people will start appreciating you, right? Appreciating you. Likewise, like, you know, when you have the, you know, intention of dispelling like all the darkness of suffering of all the living beings, then like, you know, it's like all the like god and goddess, or like, you know, all the living will start venerating you, right? This is that Shantideva has mentioned, like in his text, right? So I want to quote one more, like, you know, he says, so 1 second. So he says again, like, then again, like, you know, in his particular text, it says like, you know, when it comes there are 2 kind of bodhicitta, right? So for example, like it says Janju sem de dor de na namba ni du she jade Janju membe sem dane Janju jubangi no do de dang do yi jara jida she badar dishin khebe dingi ki jara rimje she barjat. So here it means like, you know, there are 2 kind of bodhicitta. First one is to you know, having a wish to you know, cure all the living beings from the suffering, right? So, and the second one is like you are practically helping it, like, you know, the second one is like more practical, like, you know, the practicality is very important here. So these are the two, again, like, in when it comes to this, his text, like, it says, like, there's a two kind of, first one is to have a strong wish, strong intention, or strong motivation to help other human beings, right? All living beings. Then again, like, and literally helping is a one other one, right? The main the practice of bodhicitta is to literally helping, doing something. For example, like, now your organization is like conducting the online lectures. It's benefiting a lot of people, like, this is the, it's a beautiful act of bodhisattva, right? So intention here is to contributing towards the all living beings, right? That way it's helping a lot of people, right? So this is another way of the practice of bodhicitta. So the fourth and fifth chapter discuss the main of implementing the spirit of awakening in daily life, thereby address the perfection of ethical discipline, right? In chapter 6, 7, 8 set forth passions, endurance, and meditation respectively. Meditation here, like, like, it's very important, like, when we talk about the vipassana and shamatha, right? Shamatha and vipassana. So here shamatha, again, like, it's very important, like, for me, like, the my understanding of shamatha is like, or like, for it's so it's when you want to do something for others, like, you need lots of common sense, right? You have to understand other people. Until and unless you understand other people, you cannot do much to other people, right? To understand other people, you have to have a common sense or clairvoyance, like, a more technical, what is clairvoyance? Clairvoyance, I don't want to say, but, like, I want to use better, I want to use rather use the common sense, right? To have common sense, you have to do a meditation, right? You have to train your mind. In meditation, again, like, there's the shamatha and vipassana. The first shamatha is basically, it means, like, the calm abiding meditation, like single pointedness meditation, right? Like, for example, there are different techniques of shamathas are there, like in Tibetan tradition, like, you would just put a small statue on in front of you and, like, start having concentration over it. Like, there is a shamatha, like, in when it comes to the Goenka tradition, like, we are focusing more on the breathing, right? Our breathing. There is a shamatha. Then again, like, when it comes to the vipassana, we start analyzing on our bodies, or, like, analyzing the impermanence, or analyzing on patita samutpada, analyzing on the emptiness, shunyata, or, like, there are different techniques are there. So these are the very important, like, that it discussed here in the 6, 7 chapter, 8 chapter, it discuss about all those things. And particularly the 6th chapter is widely considered as a classic in its own right, for it presents a broad area contemplation designed to counteract hatred, which is seen as the most virulent of all the mental affliction, and one of the most antithetical to the Bodhisattva way of life, right? So here, like, it says, like, uh, it says, like, anger destroyed all the conduct, such as generosity and worshipping the Sugatas, that has been acquired over thousands of eons, right? So it says and again, like, for that we have to practice, like, there is a no vice like hatred, and there is a no austerity like passions. Therefore, one should cultivate passions, right? So this is the very important this practice here in Bodhisattva practice. So fighting over the hatred through the practice of passions, right? So eighth chapter concerned with the perfection of meditation has for its main theme of cultivation of altruism and the spirit of awakening. In this chapter, Shantideva also discussed the disadvantages of attachment to one's own impure mind, impure body. In addition, he discussed about the problems of attachment to the one's friends, possession, reputation, as well as to women and their bodies. The central point of interdiscussion is to become disillusioned with a sensual desire, as he points out in the first and second verses of 6th chapter. The main theme of this chapter is meditation, cultivation of altruism, and the spirit of awakening, which embraces all beings, male and female, with love and compassion. Right. And the 9th chapter on the perfection of wisdom is one of the primary exposition of Madhyamika philosophy. Madhyamika philosophy, the very theme of the philosophical school is that all phenomena are devoid of any intrinsic nature, for they exist purely by the power of conceptual imputation. Thus, the whole of reality is compressed in the true truth, conventional truth, and ultimate truth, which is mere absence of an intrinsic nature of those event, right? So, like, here widely discuss about the shunyata, right? Shunyata, it's basically like shunya doesn't mean like, the leg of, the shunyata, the concept of West, like, the zero, it's like, it is not like that. Like, when it comes to the shunyata, it is, so for that, the well understanding of shunyata, you have to understand the padita samutpada, the interdependent theory, right? The interdependent theory is like basically, for example, when it comes to the convention level, like, everything is there, exist, right? Everything is exist, like that too exists interdependently, right? So, for example, like, when you start analyzing an object will disappear, right? So, likewise, so here, like, we cannot deny the non-existence of phenomena, right? So we have to accept that the very existence of object or phenomena. If we deny the existence or non-existence of object or phenomena, then we go to extremism, right? So, like, Buddha always explain about the madhyamika, right? So here, then again, like, when you, that is convention level, like, convention level, everything is exists, like, but like, however, when you start analyzing the object, like, there's you won't find, like, such called object. Like, for example, like, my pen is like accumulation of different particles, right? So when it is there, like, I can write through my pen, like, that's conventionally it is there. But ultimately, when I start analyzing the existence of pain, like, taking out everything, then, like, you won't find such concept called pain, right? There's no such pain exists there. So that is ultimate level. So this has been widely discussed in the 9th chapter. When it comes to the 10th chapter, it's the Acharya Shantideva explained about the dedication, the prayer dedication, right? Prayer dedication here is very important. Like, for example, whatever the virtues we accumulate, like, it is like a more sharing with all the living beings. Like, for example, like, if I'm doing something good or, like, something productive today, so, like, just dedicate to all the living beings, right? So that, like, it says, like, when you dedicate the merits to all the living beings, then, like, as I mentioned before, like, because of the one anger, like, hatred, destroy all the virtues that you have collected, right? So, but here, when you start dedicating, like, every time, then, like, that won't be taken place, like, even if you get hatred, but it's still, like, you have already shared the virtues or merits that you have accumulated. So the 10th chapter is very important, like, so here, like, I want to have a little comparison here. So here, like, I have so, for example, there is a Zapadu Rinpoche, there's one of the Tibetan scholar. So he said the entire teaching of Buddhist Charya Avatara can be compressed into a stanza, like, it's very famous stanza. So in Tibetan, it says, Janchu Semjo Rinpoche, Magepa Namki Gyochi, Kewa Nyamba Mebare, Gone Gondo Fevarsho. In English, it says, like, may the pressures of awakening arise in those for whom it has not yet arisen, and where it has arisen, may it never wend. but increase forevermore, right? The first 3 chapters of the Bodhicitta Avatara are composed in order to generate the precious mind of awakening in those for whom it has not yet arisen, right? First line. Similarly, Shantideva taught the chapter of attending to the spirit of awakening, the chapter on guarding awareness, and the chapter on practice of patience to protect the precious mind of awakening that has already developed. To the mind of awakening that has already developed, that comes under this, right? So second line, the final line is like further he delivered the chapter of joyous effort, the chapter of practice of meditative concentration, and the chapter of perfection of wisdom for the increase the precious mind of awakening forevermore, right? Eventually, the final chapter of dedication to dedicate all the virtues to all living beings. But according to some other Tibetan scholars, that first 3 chapter and the last chapter of dedication illustrate the perfection of generosity, whereas the 4th and 5th chapter explain the perfection of morality. Then remaining chapter explain the perfection of patience and the perfection of joyous effort, the perfection of meditative concentration, and the perfection of wisdom. Moreover, according to Bodhin Namgyal is again like one of the renowned Tibetan scholars. He said like first 3 chapters shows a specifically mind of aspiration, and in the same vein, this shows the perfection of generosity. However, he said the dedication chapter is not part of the main text, right? So moreover, like some other scholars says that the benefit of bodhicitta, purification of bad deeds, adopting the spirit of enlightenment, conscientiousness, guarding awareness, the perfection of patience, the perfection of will, the perfection of meditations are taught in order to realize the perfection of wisdom, right? As it says in the text, showing why those who which attain liberation need to develop the wisdom that understand emptiness, renunciation, moral discipline, bodhicitta, concentration are all prerequisite in order to develop wisdom is the only true final antidote, right? So this is the the summary of the text, the Bodhicitta Charya Avatara, right? The why I'm I have chosen this particular text is merely to introduce to all of you, because I don't have a capability to explain in a proper manner, but again my sole intention is to introduce, I'm sure all of you are very capable, and once you go through it, the commentary, there are different commentaries are there. When you go through it, you'll really understand the practice of bodhicitta, right? Practice of Buddhist, the practice of loving kindness. So this loving kindness is very much needed in this 21st century now, because individually or socially, right? So in generally, I mean, so for example, individually, why it is important? Because we have to go in a public to walk, or walking purpose, or so we have a tendency of having gathering and all, until and unless you have a great sense of loving kindness, it's become very difficult to adjust with the public right now it's very difficult because of misunderstanding and so many other things. So I strongly request you, all of you, to at least go through few times this particular text, even if you cannot go through it all the text, but try to read a bit about the particular text, this the text of Shantideva, the Bodhicitta Charya Avatara, right? So there are many translations available in English, and there are translation available in Hindi, there are translation available in many other languages. So I think with this I'll wind up my presentation, expressing gratitude to the organization for giving me this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to again share, learn and share lots of knowledges from your end. So lastly, I would like to thank you particularly to the Piyush ji for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much for listening and bearing with my very limited knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rigzen Gurmet. It is great having you here. We are glad you were able to join amidst the difficulty in internet connection in Arunachal. That was a very informative lecture about Bodhichitta Avataracharya, and we will definitely give it a read. Meanwhile, if you could post the links of the English and Hindi translations in the chat, that will be great. Before I open the floor to the questions, I would like to ask you, how is life like for the practitioners of Buddhists in Northeast region? And what we can do to bring the practitioners of the Buddhists in the Northeast region to connect with those guys with the Buddhists in the mainland. For example, people in UP, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and other parts of the world.
Thank you very much, Piyush ji. First of all, it's very important, as a young Buddhist, I'm not just a Buddhist by birth, but academically, I'm a Buddhist after studying many years. I genuinely, all the teachings of Buddha make sense a lot for me. Not only by Buddhist, but also as an academician. I mean, understanding through lots of logic and reason. So Buddha always emphasized on logic and reasoning, and also questioning, right? So Buddha also, he said, you have to analyze my teaching, not just blindly accepting is not good, right? So you have to analyze the way the goldsmith they experiment on the gold, whether the gold is good or not, right? Similarly, you have to analyze my teaching. Then if it makes sense, then you accept it, otherwise ignore it. Buddha himself has said these things, I really appreciate, as an academician. And also, the Albert Einstein, he said, the religion which can go parallel with the science can be only Buddhism, right? So these are a few things that I really like it, because not it's not Albert Einstein said this or Buddha said this. It's not only that, but again, when I start questioning, right? Start questioning, for example, the idea of Paticca idea of shunyata, or loving kindness. We, especially in Buddhism, it emphasizes a lot on loving kindness, thinking of other people, thinking of all living beings, session living beings, and all everything was there. This makes sense a lot for me. So, and again, unfortunately, here, again, there's a we usually start making a division, this is Theravada, or this is Mahayana, or that is Vajrayana, or first of all, to connect, the Buddhists from Northeast, or Buddhists from the USA, or Buddhists from UP, or Buddhists from Ladakh, or Buddhists from Himalayan region, we have to have a common, perspective, going beyond this schools, the Theravada or Mahayana, the practicing is practicing individually. It's different, but the common, the perspective has to be there. For me at least, we have to have a common perspective. As a Buddhist, rather than Theravadan Buddhist and Mahayana Buddhist, we individually or at home, we can practice our own methods, or but again, when it comes to the larger perspective, we have to have a same perspective, right? So here in Northeast, again, the many people, now place where I'm staying now is called Namsai. Namsai is western, western part of Arunachal. It's mostly Theravadan Buddhist. It's a beautiful, the people here, the Namsai, it's having lots of culture, very vibrant culture, Buddhist culture, lots of festivals. And people are very down to earth, and people are very kind, very simple. right? So again, like when it comes to the Bomdela and Tawang, and like they're the followers of Mahayana Buddhist, and there, like both the society, we can see the very foundation of the Buddhism, like loving kindness. You get to see loving kindness, the in their day-to-day life. When you communicate with them, you can feel the sense of loving kindness, like naturally, right? This is a very beautiful thing that that shows that, like the Buddhism still Buddhism is still surviving, like Buddhism still exists, like the very teaching of Buddha still exists, like as in a form of intangibility, right? So those are the very teaching of Buddha. So like again, like connecting is like we really, as a one, we have to work really hard. Like when we start connecting, we can do better to for the preservation of Buddha Dhamma. When you preserving the very teaching of Buddha, that benefits all the living beings, right? All the living beings, like the beyond the identity, or like beyond language, or beyond color, or like that can benefits a lot. So yeah, I think that's it, I think.
Well, thank you very much. So what I got from your answer was that there has to be a common area where all the Buddhists of all the traditions meet, a common area intellectually. There has to be a common consensus on certain things, and the individual practice may differ. People can practice in different ways, but there has to be a consensus as far as the broad teachings of Buddha are concerned. So my 2 cents on that would be that we have to stick to the scientific approach, and as Buddha, as you pointed out, do not believe in anything unless it appeals to your reason. So this is one of the main teachings in Buddhism, and even His Holiness Dalai Lama pointed out that if there is anything that science is able to point out that is not correct in Buddhism, we should be willing to change the teachings as to bring it in consonance with science. And Dr. Ambedkar has pointed out that there is an inherent flexibility in Buddhism, which is a remarkable quality that is not found in any other religion on the planet. So I think we have to adopt, and we have to be in consonance with science. At the same time, we have to keep we have to keep the inherent flexibility of Buddhism intact. So that is great, Rigzen. Thank you for reflecting on that. I would like to open the floor to the questions from the participants. Please raise your hand, and I will ask you to unmute yourself. Meanwhile, before anyone starts asking the question, do you have any plan of action as far as International Buddhist Youth Confederation is concerned to just unite people across different states in India and abroad?
Yes, I think
not through philosophy, but by unite, I mean through physical connections, just a way of networking.
yes. So like the very the aim of the purpose of starting the International Buddhist Youth Confederation, it's a now beginning stage. Then like the purpose is to connect, like the Buddhists from all over the world, especially the youths. It's to help each other, like support each other, right? So it's not supporting each other, like not only like preservation of Buddha Dhamma, but again, like more than that, like that is there, but again it's helping each other, like for example, like like those Buddhist bringing all the Buddhist entrepreneurs in one platform. Then and helping Buddhist aspirant entrepreneur to grow. Like, for example, like, people from all over the India and beyond coming together and one stage, then start investing, doing investment, like, going to Ladakh, or like going to Namsai, or like going to Arunachal, or going to Bihar, and all, like, people where they can support, right, to grow their, like, their entrepreneurship. So likewise to generating the bureaucrats, like, for example, like when it comes to the India, like, providing the UPSC coaching for, and to all the Buddhist community, different part of the country. Through that, like, we can through that, it's producing more of the loving kind, the compassionate bureaucrats, right? So these are the few things, like, a few examples, and there are many things that we can come together and do at larger scales. Yeah, I think that's it, Piyush.
Thank you, Rigzen. Looks like you have a nascent or a preliminary plan of action to get started with the activities of the organization. Anyway, so do we have more questions from the participant? Do we have any other question from any participant? So I don't think we have any question. So I would like to thank you, Rigzen, on behalf of Ambedkar Association of North America. By the way, Anna has already been carrying out a lot of these activities, such as helping out students and providing coaching and books and laptops and whatnot to the students, and also connecting people such as you and others from across the states in India and throughout the world. So Anna is already carrying out a lot of these activities, which might overlap some of the foreseeable activities of International Youth Buddhist Confederation. I'd like to stress that your organization stresses more on the youth aspect, or the young people, if I'm not wrong. So I think Mahesh Vasnik has a question. Maheshji, please go. Unmute your...
Piyush, there is no question, but I just want to announce there is a one Memorial Day weekend Jayanti celebration is coming into place on the May 26, 27, 28, and 29. It's a 3-day activity and the 3-day event with the full cultural program, with the speeches, with the meditation and everything all combined together during the Memorial Day weekend. So we are going to circulate the RSVP list. So if you guys can attend and join with us, it will be great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. What is the venue, Maheshji, and will it be on Zoom as well?
No, it is an in-person event, and it is in the Virginia, and we are going to share that link to the WhatsApp group. So the people who are not on the WhatsApp group, they can connect with us on the annausa@gmail.com. I'm going to put that on the text.
Yes, please put it in the chat. Thank you.
And Piyush,
Yes,
I do not have any question, but I just wanted to say thank you to Rigzen for coming on Vihara. It was a really insightful talk. I learned a lot about Shunyata and resilience. I also wanted him to talk a little bit on resilience, because we all are subject to stress in our daily lives. And Buddhism is such an important tool to counteract that. So if you could a little bit elaborate on resilience, I would appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming here on our Vihara. Thank you.
definitely, Krantiji. Thank you for bringing that up. Resilience is a very important quality of mind. So your mind should be unruffled in amidst all these stress factors and pressures that are coming in this modern age. So Rigzen, would you like to reflect a little bit on how we can cultivate mental resilience?
Yes, thank you very much. It's so kind of you for your kind words. See, now, first of all, like I was about to say this, because of my network, I cannot connect you well. I'm really sorry for that. Here in Arunachal now, there's no light also. Now, I'm speaking with no lights, and again, it's raining a lot. So I'm really sorry because this is like pre-planned. So I have to, that we cannot uh, do much with the nature. Sometimes I wish, there would have been much better network. So I'm really sorry. Then when the resilience, see it's, for example, like I always refer to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, like he came here as a refugee in India. Now it's been like many years. So he, I don't remember even he's saying even a single bad words towards the Chinese people, so, and I never feel that he has a hatred or anger towards the Chinese regime. So that I think because it's very difficult for ordinary people to not having this anger or hatred someone who has taken your country and killed your so many people and giving no uh, freedom to live in one or their own country, right? So I think that power is coming through the practice of compassion, loving kindness, right? That is the very foundation of Buddhism, the loving kindness. So I think here again, this loving kindness, and again, as I mentioned before, the Tathagata Garbha, right? Tathagata Garbha is it's in Tibetan it says Gyu Deshing Yingpo. Gyu Deshing Yingpo, basically it's a seed of becoming a Buddha, right? Like it says in suttas, Buddha said, the seed of becoming a Buddha in all living beings is equal. There's no difference in the seed in becoming a Buddha in Siddhartha, or seed in becoming a Buddha in me, or or Piyush, and it's totally when individual level, when one start working on the path, right? So then everyone can the parinibbana is achievable for everyone, each and everyone, in Buddhism even it says now even you are even the practice beginners when it comes to the Dhamma, then again even you have a scope of becoming a Buddha, right? So this kind of teachings help us a lot, when it comes to put this into practice and all. I think I hope I have answered your
Yes,
uh,
yes. Thank you so much for explaining, and thank you so much again for joining with all the difficulties, natural, rain and no internet connection. With all that you could join, we really, really appreciate your presence here. Thank you, and lots of metta to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. So kind of you.
Thank you very much thank you very much, Rigzen, for talking about how we could practice bodhicitta and overcome the stress factors in today's world. Some of the participants would really like to, since you mentioned that this book is available in Hindi and English, so it would be great if you are quickly able to post the link in the chat.
Piyush, can I now, I cannot access to my laptop also. There's no battery. So I'm
Okay.
accessing through my phone. So can I send you through your email ID later, or so
Yes,
that you can share with everyone?
Yes, please send it over the email mentioned here, aanausa@gmail.com.
Okay.
ANAUSA
Okay.
at gmail.com. Please note this email.
Okay.
And if
I
you have
can,
any other questions,
or
you
I
can.
can,
Yes. No, please.
I'll also
please
share my email ID.
Yes, sure. Go on. Please share your email ID so that participants can reach out to you if they have any question.
This is email ID, my email ID. Please contact me like whenever you come to Ladakh, Leh Ladakh or Arunachal Pradesh. Please, and anything that like, any books that you want to, I think most of the books I'll be having in a PDF form. So I would be very happy to share with all of you. So please contact me through my email ID.
Right. Thank you very much. So just to confirm, the E is capital in Essence of Himalaya.
No. It's not capital, like all, same, the small letter.
Okay. Let me, but I don't think it is case sensitive. But let me still
It's
pose
not
the.
sensitive. Yes. Any other questions?
Well, I don't think. Maheshji, do you have any comment or question again?
Oh, no. Sorry, I forgot to lower the hand.
Okay,
Yeah,
no worries.
thank you.
No worries. So, Rigzen, it would be great if you are able to send all these books at anausa@gmail.com, the PDFs. And likewise, if participants have any question, they will connect with you through your email.
Sure, I'll make sure I will send the book.
Right. Thank you very much. It's raining here too in New York, and it's raining in Namsai too. It means that we do share some certain collective consciousness. So with that,
Yes.
thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you to all the participants for being a part of this. And we will meet for the next Dhammadesana and next discourse in the next week. We will be joined by Ms. Burman from Columbia University. So thank you very much, Rigzen, and thank you to all the participants. Much metta, Namo Buddhaya. Take care. Have a great weekend and week. Thank you. Bye for now.